In 1216, England was in the throes of intense internal strife as civil wars broke out between King John and his enemies. With increasing pressure from rebellious barons and growing support from France, the Battle of Stingray was one of the decisive battles in this conflict. Here, a page of history is written that testifies to the bravery of the warriors and the magnitude of the suffering. Under an ominous sky, the troops loyal to King John gathered, the voices of the soldiers rising in excitement. Flags waved in the air, and cheers rose in preparation for battle. Every fighter knew that the battle could decide the fate of the kingdom. The rebellious barons poured in from all directions, like a torrent of anger. Their ranks were carefully formed, and the atmosphere began to tense. Eyes stared at each other, reflecting determination and resolve. The leaders gathered to plan their strategies, in a scene that showed tension. They exchanged opinions and ideas enthusiastically, trying to avoid the mistakes that had led to previous defeats. The anxiety was evident, but the enthusiasm was stronger. With the drums beating, the battle suddenly broke out. The battle cries overwhelmed everything, and the aura of calm that had prevailed was shattered. The soldiers rushed towards each other, like hungry lions fighting for survival. The loyalist forces advanced, but faced fierce resistance. Swords were exchanged, shells flew, and cries of pain filled the air. Each fighter felt the weight of the battle on his shoulders, but there was no room for retreat. In the middle of the battle, one of the warriors found himself surrounded by a number of enemies, but instead of surrendering, he gathered his courage and showed prowess in combat. Cries of victory resounded in the air, causing morale to rise. The commander of the loyalist forces saw the right opportunity. He ordered a change of formation, and they advanced suddenly, confusing the enemy. It was an exciting moment, as the barons began to feel anxious, causing them to retreat a little. As sunset approached, King John led a powerful attack. It was as if the ground shook under the soldiers' feet, and the terrible sound of swords intermingled with the cries of war. This was an unforgettable moment in the history of the battle. Everyone witnessed the heroic stance of a knight who faced several enemies alone. The fighting was fierce, but his determination was stronger. At that moment, everyone realized that courage could be an invincible weapon. Thanks to that courage, the enemy ranks began to crack. The battle was raging, and the atmosphere was full of tension and excitement. The ground moved under the soldiers' feet, as if reflecting their internal struggles. As night fell, the battle began to fade away. Silence fell on the battlefield, as the corpses of soldiers seemed to tell the story of the tragedies they had witnessed. But in the distance, the voices were resounding with victory. The loyalist forces returned to their villages, victorious, but the wounds of the battle remained deep. Everyone had witnessed a battle that was not just bloody, but symbolic of struggle and loyalty. The Battle of Stingray is over, but its impact remains in the memory of England. It is known as one of the defining moments that shaped the future of the country. This battle was an embodiment of courage and resistance, and a reminder that war is not just a battle, but a human experience that reflects the deepest aspects of the human spirit.